Right now, something is happening that no other animal on this planet can do. Somewhere, a person is feeling something too big to hold, and their body responds in the strangest possible way. Water starts running out of their face, not from pain, not from dust, from a feeling. Maybe they're sad, maybe they're so happy they can't speak, maybe they're just overwhelmed, and their eyes spill over. You've done it. Everyone has. Stop for 1 second and look at how weird this actually is. You feel an emotion, an invisible thing happening inside your head, and the result is salt water leaking out of 2 holes in your face. Why would feelings do that? Why not sweat? Why not a shiver? Why tears? And here's the part that makes it stranger. As far as we can tell, you are the only kind of animal that does this. Now hold on. Don't animals cry? Your dog's eyes get wet. An elephant's eyes can water. A seal looks like it's weeping on the beach. But that's not the same thing. Every animal with eyes makes tears. They have to. Tears keep the eye wet. They wash out dust. They protect that soft, exposed ball from drying out and going blind. That's plumbing. That's maintenance. What no other animal seems to do is cry from a feeling. A dog whose eyes are watering isn't sad about it. The tears are just cleaning the eye. Only humans seem to leak tears because of what's happening on the inside. Think about how short that list is. There are only a handful of things that seem to belong to humans and almost nothing else. Full language, cooking our food, drawing on walls, and this. Weeping because of a feeling. It's one of the rarest things our species does. And honestly, scientists still aren't completely sure why. And it's not just some of us, it's all of us. Go anywhere on Earth, any country, any language, any village that never met the outside world. You'll still find people who weep when they grieve, and people who weep when they're overjoyed. Nobody sits a child down and teaches this. It just shows up, the same way, in every human, everywhere, like language, like the smile. Crying seems to be built into us, not handed down. But here's the strange part. Something this deep, this universal, should be simple to explain. It's one of the hardest. So, let's actually take this apart. Let's start with what a tear even is. Because you don't make just one kind. You make 3. The first kind is always there. You're making it right now. It's a thin, invisible layer of fluid that coats your eye with every blink. It keeps the surface smooth. It keeps you from drying out. You never notice it. It just runs all day, all night. Call it the background tears. The second kind shows up when something attacks your eye. You chop an onion, and suddenly your eyes are flooding. Wind, smoke, a stray eyelash, a poke, same thing. Your eye panics and rinses itself out. These are the emergency tears. Their whole job is to wash the threat away. And so far, nothing here is special. Every animal has these too. But then there's the third kind. And the third kind is the mystery. The third kind has nothing to do with your eye at all. Your eye is fine, nothing got in it, nothing's wrong with it. But you watched a sad ending, or you said goodbye at an airport, or someone you love walked down the aisle, and the tears come anyway. These are the emotional tears. And as far as we know, you're the only animal that makes them. And here's a tiny thing you've felt 100 times without ever asking why. When you cry, your nose starts to run. That's not a separate thing. Your eyes and your nose are joined by a tiny drain, a little tube tucked in the inner corner of each eye. When you make more tears than that drain can carry, they spill 2 ways. Some roll down your cheeks, the rest slide down into your nose. So a runny nose isn't a second event. It's the same tears sneaking out the back door. But that's just plumbing. It still doesn't tell us why a feeling reached in and opened the tap. So here's the first real clue. Maybe these tears aren't just water. Back in the 1980s, a scientist named William Frey got curious about exactly this. He decided to collect people's tears and look at what was inside. So he had people cry from onions, and he had people cry from sad films. And then he compared the two, and he found something surprising. The emotional tears seemed to be carrying extra stuff, more protein, and traces of stress-related chemicals, the kind your body makes when you're under pressure. It looked like emotional tears were chemically different from the onion tears. Now, I have to be honest with you here. This idea is still argued about. It's hard to collect tears cleanly. The differences are tiny. Newer studies don't all agree, so nobody can promise you that crying flushes stress out of your body like wringing out a sponge. But the basic clue is fascinating. When the trigger is a feeling instead of an onion, the tears might not be quite the same. Which brings us to the real question. The one we've been circling this whole time. Why would feelings make tears at all? What is it for? To see how strange this is, you have to go back to the very start of your life. When you were born, you cried, loudly, from your very first breath. But here's the thing almost nobody notices. A newborn baby cries with no tears. The screaming is there, the red face is there, but the eyes stay dry. For the first few weeks, a baby can wail at full volume and not shed a single tear. The crying machinery is ready at birth, but the tear part isn't wired up yet. The tears only switch on later, as those connections finish forming, usually over the first weeks and months. So the crying comes first. The tears are added on top after you arrive, almost like your body is installing a second signal, a visual one, and that word, signal, is the first big idea for why we cry. Think about what a tear actually does to a face. You can fake a smile, you can fake a laugh, you can force your voice to sound calm, but tears are really hard to fake on command. They tend to show up when you genuinely can't hold it anymore. And there's a strange feeling that arrives just before the tears. You know the one. That tight lump in your throat when you're fighting hard not to cry. It feels like a small stone you can't quite swallow. We think that lump is your body caught between two gears at once. One part of you is winding up to cry, the other part is clamping down, trying to swallow it back. Your throat gets stuck in the middle, held open, and you feel that as a knot. So even when you refuse to cry, some part of your body has already started. You can't fully call it off, and that turns out to matter. So a tear is an honest sign. It's your body broadcasting, this is real, I am not okay. And it's a sign other people can see from across a room. Now imagine you're an early human. You can't always shout. Shouting brings predators. Shouting starts fights. But a face wet with tears says everything, silently. It says, I'm hurting, I need you, come closer. And it pulls something out of the people around you. Something powerful. When you see someone crying, something in you softens. You want to help. You want to comfort. You move toward them, not away. Tears might be one of the strongest help me buttons a human has. And you don't even have to say a word. There's even a quieter version of this. When you cry hard, your vision blurs. The world goes watery and soft. And a person who can't see clearly isn't a threat. They can't fight well. They can't run well. So tears might also whisper something else to the people nearby. I'm not dangerous. I give up. I just need you to be gentle with me. It's a white flag made of water. But now we hit a problem, a big one. Because if tears are just a help me signal for when you're hurting, why do we cry when we're happy? Think about it. People cry at weddings. People cry when they win. People cry when a soldier comes home and surprises their kid at the door. Nobody there is in danger. Nobody needs rescuing, and the tears still come. People even cry from anger, from relief, from a song that's just too beautiful. So, crying can't only be about sadness. It's not a sad button. It seems to be more like an overflow button. Here's the way to picture it. Imagine a cup filling with water. It doesn't matter if you pour in joy or grief or fury. What matters is how fast and how much. When the feeling rises faster than you can handle it, when the cup overflows, that's when the tears spill. That's why the happiest moment of your life and the saddest moment of your life can look exactly the same on your face. It was never about which emotion. It was about the size of it. And that reframes the whole thing. Your tears might not be saying, I am sad. They might be saying, this is too much for me to hold alone. Full stop. Which leads us to a second big idea. And this one isn't about other people at all. This one is about what crying does inside your own body. Think about the last time you really cried, not a sniffle, a real, full cry. It probably felt awful in the middle of it. But afterward, a lot of people feel a strange kind of calm, lighter, emptied out, like a storm passed through and left clear sky. There might be a reason for that. Your body has two main settings. One is the alarm setting, heart pounding, muscles tight, ready to run or fight. The other is the recovery setting, slow breathing, slow heart, the setting where you rest and repair. And some scientists think a hard cry helps flip you from the alarm setting toward the recovery setting. The peak of crying is the storm. The calm afterward might be your body coming back down. So, crying could be a kind of release valve, a way to let the pressure out and reset yourself. Now, notice something. These two ideas don't fight each other. One says crying is a message to other people. The other says it's a reset for yourself. And the beautiful thing is, crying might quietly do both at the same time. It calms you down, and it calls your people in. So here's where all of this lands. We know exactly what tears are made of. We can measure them. We can name every type. But the deepest question, why a feeling of all things makes water run from your eyes, that one isn't fully solved. We have strong, beautiful guesses. We don't have the final answer. And maybe that's the most human thing about it. The one kind of crying that belongs to us alone is also the one we understand the least. So think back to that person we started with, the one feeling something too big to hold. Their tears aren't a glitch. They aren't weakness. They aren't your body breaking. They might be the oldest message we have, older than language, a signal that says, without a single word, this matters to me, and I can't carry it by myself. So the next time your eyes start to sting, and the world goes blurry and you feel that wave rising, don't fight it. That's just the most honest part of you, asking to be held.